I want to talk now about a related point, another point that comes with seeing that independence is not just about rejecting everything about society. Sometimes you will see people who are critics of individualism accuse individualists of being so-called atomists. The idea is if you're an individual, you're this radical atom that's cut off from the rest of society, and that's obviously ridiculous. So who would want to be an individualist? And I mean, what's the simple answer to this point? And how would you can do it with Roark. You can illustrate it with Roark.
Well, what is society but a bunch of individuals?
Okay. But are those individuals disconnected from each other, as an atomist would think?
I mean, he says he needs clients.
Good. Yeah, that's the first example I wanted to give. I mean, Roark needs people. He needs clients to build. He's not building mausoleums, is a point he makes, right? He needs friends. He needs lovers, something that Dr. Salmieri talked about yesterday. And he needs teachers, right? So think about how he relies, not just on Henry Cameron, but on the Stanton School of Architecture to learn his principles of engineering. And of course, the question that people ask is, well, if he needs all these other people for this whole array of values, in what sense then is he an individualist? Well, but individualists are traders. They produce value in exchange for value. And you can see that really clearly in the case of the clients. I mean, he builds a building and they give him money. So he is still, holding up his end of the bargain. There's a kind of spiritual trade involved in love and friendship, which we won't have time to talk about today. But I do want to say another word about teachers, because I think this is really important for understanding what it means to be an independent thinker. Independent thinkers are not people who have to reinvent the wheel and of all human knowledge. We have to start, if we want to know anything, if we want to know 95% of what we know about the world, we have to learn it from other people. But that doesn't stop us from being individualists, because there are various forms in which we also trade for that knowledge, which we pay for that knowledge. And not just the obvious form of paying your tuition, which I'm thankful that all of you have done. But the fact is that we pay for it by having to work to understand. You don't just absorb knowledge passively. You have to think about what you're being presented. This applies to what I'm saying right now, just as much as any other class you've ever taken or book you've ever read. First, do you understand what the teacher is telling you? Are you even, does it make sense? Do you agree with it? And how do you apply it? What are its implications? These are all the kinds of questions you should be asking whenever you're trying to learn anything. And it's only to the extent that you ask and answer those questions that you succeed in learning anything at all. And that's the most important payment, the effort that you have to put forth to earn the knowledge. Because otherwise, it is just dogma. It is just words that you've accepted from somebody else.